once that comes up, it's going to give me a little bit more information. So you can see here it's actually got a registered plan number. So when talking to the councils and making inquiries, we can actually use these reference numbers here to give to the person on the other end of the phone so that they can punch that into their system and quickly bring up the site. You can also use the council property number there as well, which they can also use. It's telling us that it's in the Maroondah City Council. So that's obviously giving us the right sort of the right contact details when we put a search in there in Google. It's also giving us the utility details down here if we're wanting to work out, stormwater and obviously other waters and the electricity, that type of thing. It's also coming down here and showing us what it's zoned. Now this is important. It's actually coded Res 1, which is good. So it's probably going to mean that somewhere in the planning scheme that the council's released, that they're going to want or expect a planning application for something that's sort of between medium and high density. And that could be units, townhouses, potentially even apartments, but obviously you'd want to be having a conversation with the council or with a town planner from the council prior to a lodgement, just to confirm that that is the case. But like I said, this is just preliminary talks and we're trying to work out, well, should we progress further with this. Now, another concerning sort of factor is that there is a planning overlay on the site, and it's a significant landscape overlay. That's basically meaning that any significant sort of trees or shrubs that the councils want to keep, you may come across some hurdles or obstacles with that if it's going to be affecting the layout of your proposed development. So again, it is important to make sure that you've got the correct sort of documentation from the arborists and obviously their opinion. So if we actually just click on that link, it's going to come up with an extract directly out of the planning scheme. And I mean, you can just read through that. It's going to go through some information. It's telling you what's not included in that landscape overlay. So I mean, by all means, you'd be able to go ahead and take out things like bracken and noxious weeds, that type of thing. Go down, there's a little bit more information there. Whether or not that's relevant to the site or not, I mean, you'd have to make that decision. There is a lot of jargon and a lot of terminology that is listed in these types of reports, and sometimes it is easy just to pop in a call to the council and just have a talk with a real person who can explain it more in layman's terms. So if we go back to this report here, we can see that it's got the correct site listed and highlighted. If we just click back there and click on the planning report, it's a little bit more detailed. You've also got this detailed report that was listed just there. That's going to have probably some more information on demographics and the population of the locality. Probably not important and probably not worth your time in spending and money in spending the $4.40 anyway. That type of information is free to get through other sources via the council websites and that type of thing. So it's just confirming here that it is coded the R1Z. Being residential 1. It'll also just show some other areas around here that might make a difference, and also you can see here the landscape overlay. It's just showing that there are some other overlays that are in the vicinity of the area, but not affecting or not directly affecting our piece of land, which is also good. So we're happy with all of that. Now we want to find out how we can actually get the details of the registered owner. What we're actually going to do is, I generally use a website called Landdata. So I'm just going to log on to there. And this is where we can actually download a property title or a title certificate. Just click on titles and certificates. Just going to log in here. And it's going to come up with this. So what we can actually do is we've got to plug in the details of the actual site that we've got in mind. Now you can use the street address. I sort of prefer not to. I use the lot on plan number, which is what we were looking at before, just because it's going to be a lot more accurate, and we don't want any spelling mistakes or anything if we're having to type out the road name or something like that. So I'll just go back. We've got lot number 13, so I'll just put in lot number 13. Just check that we do want LP. Sometimes you might have PS come up, or even RP. We just want to check that yes, it is LP, and we've got 9215. So I'll just copy that, paste it in there, and click next. It's all relatively easy to subscribe to these types of portals. It's just like anything else. If you're setting up an email address or becoming a member of any other website, it's just going to require information from you, because you are getting, or you are requesting private information. And in Victoria, you might be aware that you know, the Privacy Act is very strict in its regulations, and obviously the legislation and how they can actually deliver it. That's why there is a charge for this information. You might find that in some of the other states, the information is freely given away, but in Victoria they are a lot more tighter on that. So we can see that it's actually brought up and confirmed the property that we are looking at, number 5 Benison Street. So that's all good. We can see that it is in the Maroondah Shire Council, and I just want to confirm the property details. Now what we're looking for here is just the title certificate. That's going to give us the name and the registered address of where the property owner is living. It may not be at the actual address that we've got in mind. They could be living somewhere else and potentially renting the property that we're looking at. So this is why we do download this document, so that we can get a letter to the owner directly, rather than having to go through a number of different hands, because that's obviously going to dilute the chance of getting to the actual owner itself. You can see that there is a number of different reports that you can actually request here. Majority of them do actually have a price tag assigned to them. However, you know, it might be the case that you've already got a property and you're wanting to download that property's history, whether it be building permit approvals that have gone through, or planning approvals. You might want to dig up some old building designs or building lodgements where you're wanting to find out who the architect was, or potentially the builder. So you can also do that through this screen here. But we're just looking for a property title, so we'll click next. We can see that that's actually going to cost us $21.89, which is okay. And it's just going to ask you to put in an order reference. You can see that it's already dumped in my details here. It's got my email address. You can either get that faxed to you if you prefer. I'm happy with the email, and I'm just going to click next. And you can see that it just asks for some credit card details. So I'm not going to pop those in this screenshot here, but if you were to do that, you just click save and finish. That would then take a couple of minutes to process your order, and it would then send you an email within the next couple of minutes. From there, you'll get an attachment with the property title itself, and it's going to have clearly stated who the owner is, and also what their address is. Now you'll also see that there will be encumbrances there, and possibly caveats. If there's a caveat over the property, then that's certainly worth investigating. An encumbrance generally might be some form of loan or mortgage over the property via a bank, or potentially another second sort of mortgage, if there's vendor finance or anything like that on the deal as well. But look, that's it for this recording. I hope you got a lot out of that, and if you're wanting to see another recording on what we actually do in sending out the letters and contacting the owners, then please feel free to have a look. Thanks again, and I'm glad you came along.